Today I would like to read to you some of the affidavit that has just come out regarding the Idaho murders. It is written from the perspective of Brett Payne, who is a corporal at the Moscow Police Department. As I entered this room, Madison Mogan's, I could see two females in the single bed in the room. Both Kaylee and Madison were deceased with visible stab wounds. I also later noted what appeared to be a tan leather knife sheath laying on the bed next to Madison's right side. The sheath was later processed and had CAR bar USMC and the United States Marine Corps Eagle, Globe, and Anchor insignia stamped on the outside of it. The Idaho State Lab later located a single source of male DNA suspect profile left on the button snap of the knife sheath. As part of the investigation, the remaining two flatmates were interviewed. One was DM, Dylan Waterson, the other was BF, Bethany Funk. They were inside at the time of the homicides. Bethany estimates that at 1:45 a.m. Sana and Ethan returned home. Bethany and Dylan say that the four victims were home by 2 a.m. and in their rooms by 4 a.m. Sana ordered DoorDash at 4 a.m. and was on TikTok at 4:12 a.m. In the affidavit, they say that Dylan's bedroom was on the second floor, which is the same floor as Sana's room. Previously, we thought she was on the first floor. Her room is below Madison's room, which Madison and Kaylee were murdered in. Dylan stated she originally went to sleep in her bedroom on the southeast side of the second floor. Dylan stated she was awoken at approximately 4 a.m. by what she stated sounded like Kaylee playing with her dog in one of the upstairs bedrooms, which were located on the third floor. A short time later, Dylan said she heard who she thought was Kaylee say something to the effect of, "There's someone here." A review of records obtained from a forensic download of Sana's phone showed this could also have been Sana, as her cellular phone indicated she was likely awake and using the TikTok app at approximately 4:12 a.m. Dylan stated she looked out of her bedroom but did not see anything when she heard the comment about someone being in the house. Dylan stated she opened her door a second time when she heard what she thought was crying coming from Sana's room. Dylan then said she heard a male voice say something to the effect of, "It's okay, I'm going to help you." At approximately 4:17 a.m., a security camera located at 1112 King Road, a residence immediately to the northwest of 1122 King Road, picked up distorted audio of what sounded like voices or a whimper followed by a loud thud. A dog can also be heard barking numerous times starting at 4:17 a.m. The security camera is less than 50 feet from the west wall of Sana's bedroom. Dylan stated she opened her door for the third time after she heard the crying and saw a figure clad in black clothing and a mask that covered the person's mouth and nose walking towards her. Dylan described the figure as 5'10" or taller, male, not very muscular, but athletically built with bushy eyebrows. The male walked past Dylan as she stood in a frozen shock phase. The male walked towards the back sliding glass door. Dylan locked herself in her room after seeing the male. Dylan did not state that she recognized the male. This leads investigators to believe that the murderer left the scene. The combination of Dylan's statements to law enforcement, reviews of forensic downloads from Bethany and Dylan's phone, and a video of a suspect video as described below leads investigators to believe the homicides occurred between 4 a.m. and 4:25 a.m. During the processing of the crime scene, investigators found a latent shoe print. This was located during the second processing of the crime scene by the ISP forensic team by first using a presumptive blood test and then amino-black, a protein stain that detects the presence of cellular material. The detected shoe print shows a diamond-shaped pattern, similar to the pattern of a Vans-type shoe sole, just outside the door of Dylan's bedroom, located on the second floor. This is consistent with Dylan's statement regarding the suspect's path of travel. A review of camera footage indicated that a white sedan, hereafter Suspect Vehicle 1, was observed traveling westbound in the 700 block of Indian Hills Drive in Moscow at approximately 3:26 a.m. and westbound on Steiner Avenue at Idaho State Highway 95 in Moscow at approximately 3:28 a.m. On this video, it appeared Suspect Vehicle 1 was not displaying a front license plate. A review of footage from multiple videos obtained from the King Road neighborhood showed multiple sightings of Suspect Vehicle 1 starting at 3:29 a.m. and ending at 4:20 a.m. These sightings show suspect vehicle 1 makes an initial 3 passes by the 1122 King Road residence and then leave via Wellenta Drive. Based off my experience as a patrol officer, this is a residential neighbourhood with a very limited number of vehicles that travel in the area during the early morning hours. Upon review of the video, there are only a few cars that enter and exit this area during this time frame. Suspect vehicle 1 can be seen entering the area a fourth time at approximately 4:04 a.m. It can be seen driving eastbound on King Road, stopping and turning around in front of 500 Queen Road, and then driving back westbound on King Road. When suspect vehicle 1 is in front of the King Road residence, it appears to unsuccessfully attempt to park or turn around in the road. Suspect vehicle 1 is next seen departing the area of the King Road residence at approximately 4:20 a.m. at a high rate of speed. This section here basically says that at 2:44 a.m. on November 13th, which is the morning of the murders, the white Elantra, which is very similar to suspect vehicle 1, was located on video footage in the Washington State University campus. It was also seen heading towards Moscow at 2:53 a.m. The forensic examiner identified the vehicle observed in Pullman, Washington as being a 2014 to 2016 Hyundai Elantra. At approximately 5:25 a.m., a white sedan, which was consistent with the description of suspect vehicle 1, was observed on 5 cameras in Pullman, Washington, and on Washington State University campus cameras. On November 25th, MPD asked area law enforcement agencies to be on the lookout for a white Hyundai Elantras in the area. On November 29, at approximately 12:28 a.m., Washington State University police officer Daniel Tiengo queried white Elantras registered at Washington State University. As a result of that query, he located a 2015 white Elantra with Pennsylvania license plate LFZ 8649. This vehicle was registered to Bryan Kohberger. This part here shows that Bryan was in Moscow, Idaho on August the 21st. He got pulled over at a traffic stop and he provided a phone number, which becomes important later, with the last digits 8458. On October 14th, Bryan was detained as part of a traffic stop by Washington State University police officer. Upon review of that body cam report of the stop, Bryan was the sole occupant and was driving a white 2015 Hyundai Elantra. On November the 18th, 5 days after the murder, according to Washington State licensing, Bryan registered the 2015 white Elantra with Washington and later received updated plates CFB 8708. Prior to this time, the white Elantra was registered in Pennsylvania, which does not require a front license plate to be displayed. This part here talks about Bryan's studies. It also mentions that he wrote an essay when he applied for an internship with the Pullman Police Department in the fall of 2022. Bryan wrote in his essay that he had interest in assisting rural law enforcement agencies with how to better collect and analyze technological data in public safety operations. Bryan also posted a Reddit survey which can be found by an open source internet search. The survey asked for participants to provide information to understand how emotions and psychological traits influence decision making when committing a crime. As part of this investigation, law enforcement obtained search warrants to determine cellular devices that utilize cellular towers in close proximity to the King Road residence on November 13th between 3 a.m. and 5 a.m. After determining that Bryan was associated to both the 2015 white Elantra and the 8458 phone, investigators reviewed these search warrant returns. A query of the 8458 phone in these returns did not show the 8458 phone utilizing cellular tower resources in close proximity to the King Road residence between 3 a.m. and 5 a.m. Based on my training, experience, and conversations with law enforcement officers that specialize in the utilization of cellular telephone records as part of investigations, individuals can either leave their cellular telephone at a different location before committing a crime or turn their cellular telephone off prior to going to a location to commit a crime. This is done by subjects in an effort to avoid alerting law enforcement that a cellular device associated with them was in a particular area where a crime is committed. I also know that on numerous occasions, subjects will surveil an area where they intend to commit a crime prior to the date of the crime. On December 23rd, I applied for and was granted a search warrant for historical phone records between November 12th at 12 a.m. and November 14 at 12 a.m. for the 8458 phone held by the phone provider AT&T, approximately 24 hours preceding and following the times of the homicides. On November 13 at approximately 2:42 a.m., the 8458 phone was utilizing cellular resources, providing coverage to Bryan's residence. At approximately 2:47 a.m., the 8458 phone utilized cellular resources that provided coverage southeast of the residence, consistent with the 8458 phone leaving the residence and traveling through Pullman, Washington. This is consistent with the movement of the Elantra. At approximately 2:47 a.m., the 8458 phone stops reporting to the network, which is consistent with either the phone being in an area without coverage, the connection to the network is disabled, such as putting the phone in airplane mode, or that the phone is turned off. The 8458 phone does not report to the network again until approximately 4:48 a.m., at which time it's utilized cellular resources that provide coverage to the ID State Highway 95 south of Moscow. Here they are basically saying that the phone pings are consistent with the video footage of the white Elantra. So they have linked the phone to Bryan, the white Elantra to Bryan, and both of those are driving to Bryan's residence. Based on my training and experience and the facts of the investigation thus far, I believe that Bryan, the user of the 8458 phone, was likely the driver of the white Elantra that is observed departing Pullman, Washington, and that this vehicle is likely suspect vehicle 1. Additionally, the route of travel of the 8458 phone during the early morning hours of November 13 and the lack of the 8458 phone reporting to AT&T between 2:47 a.m. and 4:48 a.m. is consistent with Bryan attempting to conceal his location during the quadruple homicide that occurred at the King Road residence. Here they're saying that they were granted a search warrant to see if previously Bryan was stalking any of the victims before the murders. Here they're saying that the search warrant produced information about the 8458 phone being recorded near the area of 1122 King Road on at least 12 occasions prior to the murders. All of these occasions, except for one, occurred in the late evening and early morning hours. Here they are saying that on December 27th, they went to Bryan's family's residence and collected some trash. They tested the trash for DNA, they got the results the next day, and they identified that the DNA on the sheath and from the trash is a 99.99% match.